Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. Today we're going to be looking at a few common backstory mistakes in D&D and what you can do about them. So, let's get started. One of the most common mistakes on this list is your character not having any relationships in their backstory. Quite often, a character's whole family is dead, and possibly even everyone they know, and they don't list anyone living that their character knows. And it actually takes away a lot from their character. They feel much, much less connected to the world. Whereas if you give your DM something to work with, then they might be able to bring some of those characters in as NPCs. Then you will get to interact with characters that you came up with from your backstory. And that's pretty neat. And if you kill off people that your character knows because you don't want them to come in as NPCs, then just talk to your DM and explain what they're allowed to use, what's on the table for them. Another really common problem that a lot of people have is the length of their backstory, how long or how short it should be. And honestly, there isn't a definite answer because every table and every DM is going to have a preference. Some DMs will prefer you having more depth to your backstory. Other DMs are probably only interested in why you joined the party. But I know some people have trouble making longer backstories, and there's only a few things that you actually need: where your character's from, any living people that they might know, people they're related to, friends, even rivals. Anyone living that they know that the DM could use for the story. And probably the most important thing is why you're with the party. Because a big thing is that you can't have a perfect life for your character. Otherwise, they wouldn't be adventuring. So long as your character has a reason to be out here. And as for writing really long backstories, there's not much of a problem with that in itself. It actually really helps some players to get to know their characters. But the main problem is that your DM may have to read all of that to be able to bring your character's backstory into the game. So, what you can do if you actually like writing long backstories is to actually write a summarized list for your DM with just key information. That way, they don't have to read a 20-page novel. Another really important thing is to be careful how powerful you make your character in their backstory. Because while you want your backstory to be interesting and explain where your character came from and why they're here now and what they're doing, you don't want your backstory to be more exciting than the actual campaign. The campaign is your character's adventure. The backstory is how they came to be on this adventure. Because the campaign isn't going to be anywhere near as interesting if you've built your character up to impossible heights in their backstory, and then you can't match that in game. So it is actually really important for your character to have a reasonable power level during their backstory. A really important part of your character's backstory is their motivation to be adventuring. Because while you're here to defeat the big bad, or save the world, or whatever your campaign is about, your character also needs their own goals. Why are they out here personally? What is keeping them with the party even when it puts their life in danger? It's really important to know why your character is out there so that it makes sense for them to stick around, even when things get really difficult. And the best place to put that motivation is in their backstory. And even if you don't add that to your backstory, then your backstory should at least add weight to it. That way, it'll feel a lot more deeply rooted into your character. A lot of people think that their characters don't need motivations, that they just need a reason to be on the quest. But honestly, having your character personally motivated is really important. Something that a lot of people seem to not do with their backstories is to add in and connect to the other player characters. And that's actually a bit of a shame because having your characters connected through their backstories can make the party feel so much closer, so much more collaborative, and really adds to the story. And you don't even have to connect to each and every other person at the table. So long as everyone is connected to everyone else through each other, then your party has a reason to stick together. And it'll even really help your DM bring your party together, which is pretty great. But there we go, that's the end of this video, and I really hope it was helpful. And if it was, then I'd be really grateful if you'd consider giving it a like, or even subscribing to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.